Hey everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I am doing another design breakdown video, and these are the horizon dies. For today's video, I really want to talk about how simple can go a long ways. So what helps this layout is partially the photos. These were taken in Yellowstone National Park, and that place is so amazing. You're going to come away with so many photos and they're all pretty much going to be really good and they're going to make amazing pages. But with amazing photos, I think they do deserve to be on a layout that's made really well. So this page actually surprised me because I really did go simple. Usually with outdoor pages with a lot of green, I don't usually pick green grid paper. Sometimes I do, a lot of times I don't though. For some reason, it seems to take away from the photos, but this time Everglades worked really well. So when I pick a grid paper color, what I do is I take at least 2 of the photos that I'm going to use and place it on top of the grid paper and see if it's contrasting enough. So these photos were, even though there's a lot of greens and browns, they still felt contrasting on Everglades. And Everglades is a really pretty grid paper. There is some variation, and on the back I'll show you, it has this pattern. And the pattern gives it a texture that other grid papers don't. So I just think it helps to have that variation. I don't think this would have worked as well if it was a solid color green. But there's kind of some interest with the background here that helps the photo stand out. And then for the cardstock, I just chose a dark forest green because it was contrasting enough for my photos and also contrasting over the grid paper. And the solid color really helps these photos stand out. So this is optional with the 4x4 horizon. You don't have to have this corner here, but I wanted to put in more photos of Yellowstone because it is amazing. So I used these little corners as an opportunity. And so the solid color cardstock helps it stand out. So it's something to keep in mind. You can use pattern paper behind photos, but I think you have to be really careful because the photo doesn't stand out as much on a lot of pattern paper. It really depends on what you're using. But cardstock really can make your photos stand out a lot. So for most part, when you're matting photos, I recommend getting out a cardstock they look good on. And of course, naturally with the horizon dies, you're going to have a very attractive design. On this layout, I use the 4x4 horizon and the little 1x4 horizons that fit in these areas. And here you can see I have these two. They're kind of some closer up detail photos. I thought the little strips would be very unique. So something to keep in mind is cropping is your friend. You're not going to be able to crop every photo like this, but it's really important to take these detail photos for something like this because it's not likely you're going to have a person small enough. I mean, you might in some cases, but sometimes you're not going to have someone be small enough to fit in here. So those detail photos help tell the story, and it also adds interest to your layout. I also have these 2 journaling spots. They were made with this speckly gray cardstock, which looks really good on this green, and it's very simple. And gray can be good if white just feels too much. Like if you're putting white paper on and you feel like it's just too bright or kind of takes away from the rest of the photos, a gray can be a good choice. Like this is a lighter gray, and it worked really well for my black pen here. And something I like to talk about is this photo looks so good. This was of a waterfall, and it was taken at a very far distance. And of course, I could have used the 2x4 option and still would have looked really good. But because I used the 1x4, this waterfall just looks so amazing. It really grabs your attention because it's cut in this 1x4 strip. And of course, this photo is still important to show the whole scene, and you can see this little river here flowing through the second photo. But I just love that little detail. It's really small. I mean, it's a really small detail, but it really makes a huge difference. And that is something to keep in mind when choosing your dies. Is a 2x4 going to be great? A 2x4 would be awesome if you had a photo of a person, but for something like this waterfall, it looks really good. Down here, I have a photo of one of the, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say it's a geyser. It's like one of the pools, but it's really, really hot. Like you would never want to get into it. And it can add interest to something like that too. I think it was a bit more effective in this photograph. Tied in the green in the center too. It helped this photo stand out a lot more. And I like my matting to all be about the same size. So this is a pretty wide mat, so I went with a layering die that gave this a wider mat as well, just to match the corners here. That's not always what you have to do, but that's what I personally wanted. Anyway, I really like this layout. Again, it really surprised me because simple can really go a long way. This is really a very simple green, but the photos still look really good. And that is one of my main tips for designing your layouts, is just going simple can make the layout stand out. Some of the most popular layouts people love, if you really start looking, you'll see it's really simple. Like we only use one die collection. We might have only used one cardstock color, maybe even just one pattern paper for the focal point. So simple can go a long ways, and that's the message for today. Anyway, let me know what you think of this layout. What stands out to you? Is this layout attractive to you? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.